Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh. We're taking your phone calls on the Borders and Borders hotline tonight. 412-575-2600 is the number. Chris Mueller will join me in just a matter of moments, and we're going to be talking about the NFL Draft. And I think we've exhausted this topic, right, Chris? I mean, we all know who I think they're going to pick. I think we all know who everyone knows who you're going to pick, right? Unless you changed something in the last couple of days.
I mean, I said, hold on. First, the NFL Draft can wait here. Rich, look at your tie. Look at my jacket.
I love this. I didn't even notice
that. Folks, we didn't even plan this. That's just the kind of synergy that Rich and I have here. The synergy ends exactly there with the sartorial choices. Because, I said last night on the Showdown, and I'm going to stick to this so you can play tape of this and mock me and everything else. I said Caleb Farley for the sake of being different.
I like that. No, I like that pick. I like it better than the Landon Dickerson pick.
I mean, Caleb Farley, if you think knee injuries are worrisome, I would imagine that most people out there know that back injuries are particularly fickle. And Caleb Farley has had now 2 procedures done on his back. Couple that with the fact that Kevin Colbert seems to be, by his own admission, inclined to pick, if they have comparable players at a given position, I guess, comparably rated players, he's inclined to pick the guy who played versus the guy who opted out, which I'm not crazy about as sort of a rubric for how you're going to draft. But when you combine all that together, it looks like Caleb Farley isn't going to be close to their board. You're saying Najee Harris. I'll still say that in absence of Farley, which I said just to be different, Tevin Jenkins still seems like a guy who's going to be there, who they've got their eyes on, and who they think they need to take. Kevin Colbert also, I thought, Rich, tipped his hand a little bit when he said that they felt it was a very deep class, both in offensive linemen overall and in centers. I think that centers part of it means they're not going to take the health risk that is Landon Dickerson. Maybe a guy like Josh Myers from Ohio State in the 2nd or 3rd round could be somebody that's wearing black and gold.
He also said it was a deep draft for cornerbacks too. So when I think these guys say that, it leads me to believe that they might wait for those positions, and that's why I'm even more confident in the running back pick in the 1st round.
The thing with running backs is, like Kevin Colbert said, you're not going to find a lot of Hall of Fame running backs who got picked outside the 1st round. Well, it's a dying position in terms of its overall importance. I think it's hard to have a career long enough and productive enough now to be a Hall of Fame running back anymore. I look at it, and I've got to believe on some level that they think it might be more important to their offense long term to find somebody that can step in right away and protect Ben Roethlisberger's blind side. Like, who knows what avenues are open to them offensively if they just have a quarterback who's willing, because his protection's better, to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. I also thought Mike Tomlin, interestingly enough here, sort of gave a weird vote of confidence to their running game and didn't really suggest that it necessarily had to be a back that they would pick. He looked at every other facet. He threw Randy Fichtner under the bus a little bit. Indirectly. He looked at every other facet and suggested that there were other things in play other than just running backs not being productive enough on their own merits that hindered them last year. So I don't know. That Mike Tomlin thing right there, that part of it made me think that maybe they won't go running back.
You know what? And that was unprompted too, Chris, because I was there. Colbert answered the question, and then he just said, hey, it doesn't necessarily need to be a player that can improve the run game. So, and you know what else was unprompted by Tomlin today? When we asked about the quarterbacks, and he brought up Dwayne Haskins having potential.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like that either because that tells me, and I guess Kevin Colbert's saying they don't anticipate trading up. I mean, when they did trade up in 2019, he did hint that they would at least be open to it because they had 10 picks that year. Kevin Colbert said they like the picks they have and they value the picks that they have, and they would be more likely to trade down certainly than up. But having Mike Tomlin say what he said about Dwayne Haskins especially makes me think it's highly unlikely that they get aggressive and try to move up for Fields or Lance if either of those guys falls. And I think that's a bad job by them. Dwayne Haskins is what? The 15th overall pick a couple years ago. He is not really the prototype NFL quarterback. Huge arm, but the guy is relatively statuesque. Like, there are people out there that seem to think Dwayne Haskins is really mobile. He is not. He is closer to Mason Rudolph than he is any of these other mobile quarterbacks that are playing in the NFL today.
And it leads me to believe that they're going to give Dwayne Haskins every opportunity to make this team. So potentially a guy like Josh Dobbs could be the odd man out. They're not going to keep 4 quarterbacks.
Well, he's got NASA to fall back on most likely, does Dobbs. So I'm not hurting too bad for him on that one.
All right, we got to take a break. Back with some of your phone calls. 412-575-2600 is the number. See you in about 2 minutes.